Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be discussing Ethereum. So we're going to be talking about a couple of things here. We're going to be talking about that possibility we have a much bigger, stronger move looking to actually target up these higher areas here of this 2058 range. Potentially this could be looking for a bigger third wave move, but we also need to be cautious for as long as we stay below this 1857 area that we could actually still see some breakdown here. So we're going to discuss basically what needs to happen for this bigger five-wave move to play out, and what we need to be on the lookout for along that journey. Okay, so let's get into it now. So basically, what we're looking for here, potentially we're talking about this. We could actually have a wave two low in place here. We could actually start to be extending out in this bigger third wave here, looking for this 2058. So we were talking about a couple of things within this. We're talking about the possibility that actually we could be looking at this playing out as a completed wave one here, and then we could look for this as a wave or a completed move down, and then looking to actually push to the upside. However, we also need to be aware here. This has had a rejection off of a typical B wave location for a flat correction. So if this fails to actually develop to the upside here, we need to be on the lookout for the potential to have a five-wave move to the downside. So this is currently what I have off of the information that obviously is available at this time. Potentially we could still see this come down towards these zones of this 1784 to the 1776. Key zone here is if we have a direct drop to this 1789, I'll then be looking out for this possibility here of an additional fourth and a fifth wave. Obviously, we'd have to be careful within this so we don't have further extensions like this becoming another one and a two in here, and then looking to push down through these zones. So this box over here, the orange and red one, this is a typical zone that we look for a flat correction. So this would be that running flat location at a 0.618, which would actually bring us back into this 1618 area. So we'd have to be a bit cautious with this and see whether actually this fourth wave develops if we do break down here, or whether we actually just look to push back to the upside. And potentially this could be actually completed into here as a running flat. The current structure wouldn't really suggest that it would be that low. The next place I'll be looking at is potentially the 1763, which would be a one-to-one of this A wave. So that could be a zone. If it does push down lower here, 1747 to the 1721 is a area to look out for. So this would actually be quite an interesting zone here because this would bring us back into this wave two support zone, where this could then become a bigger wave two here, and then we look to push to the upside. I have drawn this channel in here just as a guide. I've used these three tops here and basically looked at just projected it back down onto this low. Obviously, when it comes to channeling, you can always mess around with it a little bit. Could be something like this where we actually don't take this wick into account and we just look to rather connect as many points as possible down here. Um, and this could actually look to bring us back into these areas. So this is what I'm looking at, that possibility of having a bigger flat here. This would look to play out like basically as a fake out here, and then we could potentially look for a much stronger wave two to come off the back of it. Sorry, wave three to come off the back of this. Because typically speaking, once we have a flat correction like this, if this does play out, we do get a nice strong move to the upside afterwards. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it. It is possible we've completed here into this low and we've already started it. And basically, we're going to discuss that now. So if we have actually come down, found that support there and we're looking to start from this area, we're talking about this last time we did a video, and basically looking for this third wave to play out. But we haven't actually, moved up high enough for that third wave, which we're looking for this 1866. So now I have been sort of messing around with this a little bit. Within these internal counts, you could potentially argue we completed wave one into here. This is wave actually three here. We get a four, and then we get a fifth wave to the upside. If this was the case, basically it would reduce this target zone, and we'd be looking for this area of this 1869 to this 1855. So if this is what's actually playing out, basically what we'd be expecting is a five-wave move up here, back into this zone of this 1869 to this 1855. And then from there, if we do actually get a move that plays out like this, potentially what we would then be looking for is support again to hold above this low of this 1763, and we'd be then looking for a three-wave move to the downside here, where this becomes an A, B, and a C, and then we look to push up. Unfortunately, at the moment, there's a couple of ways of reading this. So the alternative way that we can argue is we keep the count the same there, and basically we just look at this slightly different, where this is a 1, 2, and another 1 and a 2 here. So this would actually look to push us up higher here, and potentially this would only be confirmed by this 1924. So if this was something that was going on here, we'd want to continue to maintain above this 1792. By all means, it's possible this could see another drop to the downside, but we wouldn't want to lose this 1792. And this would just extend this wave 2 to that, to basically down one more time. What one area we could look at, which would be an interesting zone if we do get that break to the downside, would actually be towards this zone of this 1809 at a 1-to-1. So that would be a 1-to-1 of this. You'd have to look at this as a W and X, and then potentially either a Y wave completed, or it's got one more drop here where this is a W, X, and a Y again, and then it actually looks to push down towards these lower zones. So these key areas that I'll be looking out for here, if this is the case, would be this 1812 to the 1792, looking for that potential to find support here and then get a much more impulsive move. But like I said, it only gets confirmed by a strong move up towards this 1924. For as long as we don't do that, we need to just be cautious that that we could actually still be within a corrective structure here, and it could actually need to come down one more time. So that's basically what we need to be careful of there. You know, this is still completely possible that we are still within a bigger wave two here, where this becomes a one. We have a bigger flat correction here, and then we look to push up from that point. So the key zones, if we're looking for this direct push to the upside, is still going to be the same area we've been talking about, the 1758 to the 1717 area. We need to maintain this, look to hold this zone, and then look for that possibility, of a bigger third wave to the upside. Though, this is only going to get confirmed by having a much bigger move up here towards the zone of this 2023. So we'd want to see this start to take off here. If this is the case, where we're looking for this possibility of having a bigger structure here develop, where this becomes an A, a B, and then we're looking for basically this C wave to the downside here. So, this is still possible. We need to just be cautious of the fact we could see this play out with, some additional legs within here to the downside first. And basically, as long as we maintain the 1763, we could look potentially for that, direct push to the upside. Alternatively, if we lose that, this is going to be our next support zone down here, the 1758 to the 1717 range. And yeah, if we start to lose this 1717, it starts to become less likely that we're going to see this direct push up. And basically, what we'd be looking for then is the possibility that let me just turn those off. The possibility that we have a flat correction within this space. So I haven't given up on this idea yet. Technically it is still possible where this is all an A wave. We have an A, B, and even within this structure, we need to be a little bit cautious because I've been looking at this as a completed one move here, but it is developing quite nicely as a wedge-shaped pattern to the upside here. So what we need to be aware of is this could be forming a five-wave move as a diagonal here, where we look at something like this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. But I don't really like the internal structure of this. I am going to be keeping an eye on it just in case. Potentially, it would make more sense if it completes into this high here. And then that would be basically a wave 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we do get a three-wave move to the upside here again, something like this, A, B, C, and we come back into these zones here, the tops of this not channel, this trend line here, potentially that could look to actually bring us back into the zone of testing this high again, as well as testing this trend line high as well. So I'm keeping an eye on this. If we just get a three-wave move up here and then we break down in a much bigger way, this would be what I would be anticipating. That potential to actually see a move back down coming into some of these lower ranges here. So obviously this target area has changed slightly as an A wave. Let me just double check this. Yeah, so I mean, we would be looking at the possibility of coming down into this zone here, the 1726 to this 1645. So gonna have to keep an eye on it. You know, it's still viable that we could still see this, even if we do push up one more time and retest this high. We could see a sharper sell-off here, where this whole move is actually a flat correction, and we look to break down back into these lower ranges here. So the key thing here is that these support areas are pretty much the same. So that's why I keep saying, you know, as long as we stay above these key zones, um, the 1726 to the 1660, we can look for a direct push to the upside. Alternatively, if we do look to push down and, you know, come back down in a bigger way here, where this is basically an a B, and then we get a bigger C wave to the downside, the 1604 to this 1469 is going to be a key zone. Obviously, we have this low here at the 1612, which is, you know, previous support and resistance here. So we need to keep an eye on this. You know, potentially a move back into this would suffice, and then we could argue that, you know, instead we have a bigger one, two, and then we're looking for that push to the upside. So these are the things that we need to just take into account. This is very choppy and corrective. There is that possibility that within here, you know, we are starting to see that push to the upside already from this point, but we need to just be aware that these things can still break down. And if it is a flat, the C wave is quite a violent move. You know, it's designed to shake people out the market. So we'll have to actually keep an eye on this, see how this plays out, and you know, just monitor it and take it level by level. For as long as we hold those support zones higher up, you know, potentially we can see those breakouts still play out. So basically, you know, these are going to be these key areas we need to see. If we do see bigger pushes to the upside past this 1924 range, you know, potentially that would look for this bigger third wave to the upside. Though, you know, we need to just be aware that there are still downside potential. So the key thing to know whether this is a diagonal or not is basically this fifth wave is not allowed to cross, is not allowed to be longer than this wave three. So within this it couldn't technically pass this 1896 if this is the case. So if we see a three-way move basically pushing up here and it goes past, or if we see a move coming up here and it crosses this 1896, this would invalidate this possibility of a diagonal in this zone. And, you know, it would already be unlikely at that point because, you know, if we're talking about it from something like this, basically as a trend line. What you want to see with this is basically this fifth wave come up here, break this with high volume on the break, and then get a rejection and come back down quite quickly off the back end of it. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting because if this does happen to play out as a diagonal and this is a flat correction here, this C wave could be quite a strong, violent move. So we need to just be aware of that. That I'm going to be keeping an eye on this top trend line here. If this has just a three-wave move into it and we start to get a much bigger rejection here, you know, and we start to take out some of these key zones here of this 1762 and we break down in a bigger five-wave structure here, something, you know, something along the lines of this bigger five-wave move to the downside, something like that, you know, maybe coming back into this zone for a 1-2, facing rejection again, maybe even forming another 1-2 here, and then looking to break it down much deeper. That's going to be something we have to just keep an eye on. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turned on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you will find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. As well as that, there are affiliate links for both PrimeXBT and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. If you do not have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.